You know we care a little bit about gaming. You know we care a little bit about gaming. And the fact of the matter is, although 25 years ago when we first started this journey, gaming was a niche market, but gaming is surely no longer niche. This is a pop culture now. It is a massive industry. It is a global industry. It is a growing industry. And frankly, everybody's a gamer. Just ask the president. You guys don't watch that show? And so, what we think is that a set-top box should also be able to game. And wouldn't it be amazing, though, if we were able to expand the reach of gaming? You know, quite frankly, gaming on television today is really about the console. And the console is fantastic. For millions of us, we'll do anything to have a great gaming experience. However, we can expand the reach of gaming 10 times, 100 times, if we can simply make it more accessible, so that it's click and play away. Just a click and a play away. We think that if we can leverage somehow the power of mobile cloud and do for gaming what Netflix did for videos, what Spotify did for music, we can really expand the reach of gaming. And so the question then became, how do we do that? Well, the first thing we have to do is design a great processor. We designed the Tegra X1. The Tegra X1, we call it a mobile super chip. This little tiny processor has 256 GPU cores. I'm going to show you what it can do in just a moment. But just to give you a sense of what its performance is, we're using a pretty old benchmark here. I could use a more modern benchmark, but unfortunately, many of those other devices simply show up as do not run. And so I've used a relatively old benchmark. And this old benchmark will show that we're about 35 times faster than the Apple TV. Now, you need that performance. You need 35 times faster than Apple TV because you would like to have more and more applications. And some of those applications require an enormous amount of computational capabilities. Well, being faster than a smart TV device is good, but it surely isn't necessarily good enough if you would like to have great games. You need to have a platform that allows game developers to be able to port and to be able to address, to engage, so that they can deliver great games. We need to know that TX1 can deliver good games. Well, if you compare it to one of the most popular game platforms in the history of mankind, you can see that this little tiny chip called TX1 with 256 Maxwell GPU cores can deliver over twice the performance of an Xbox 360, and at 1/5 the power. At 1/5 the power. Now the question is, why is that important? Well, it turns out that about 100 million people have enjoyed console games of that generation, and yet there are well over 1,000 amazing titles created. Several billion people should enjoy it. How do we get several billion people who all have televisions to be able to enjoy the 1,000+ games that were created for that generation? They are still beautiful. They're still amazing. If we gave them a platform that allows the developers to simply remaster, put it in the cloud, click and download, and before you know it, you can now enjoy that wonderful game for all of the people who didn't go to the trouble of buying a game console, all those people who didn't go through the trouble of digital download at the time, all those people who didn't go through the trouble of buying the DVD. TX1 in Shield with 256 Maxwell cores and 3 GB of memory makes it possible for us to engage this new market, to expand the reach of gaming. So number one, we have to build a great processor. Number two, the system has to be designed to be incredibly powerful. Now, if you're a 3D graphics company, you got to do everything in 3D, you know? And so maybe we'll just, can we turn the lights back on real quick? You know, give me a slide. Okay, in 3D.